Well, hello. Hello,
Hello.
world.
What
Oh,
is up? It is a glorious Monday after a
glorious.
week of UFL championship football, conference championship football. The football gods have smiled all on the entirety of the UFL.
Woo.
Welcome.
Rained its glory.
Yes, yes.
Wait,
Welcome to the Horns Forward podcast.
yeah. I think there's somebody back
Yeah.
here.
Oh,
Hold on,
we do have somebody waiting to join
hold
us.
on. Hello?
Hello.
St. Louis again. Again, you proved me right. You tripped over your words. You ran those mouths. Talk about how good you are, how the league can't survive without you, how everything is about St. Louis. Everything comes through St. Louis, right? Well, so do 2 losses in a row. How about that, baby?
Hey,
Put this
you
on
know
as
what
a
they say?
reminder.
Freaking told you.
You know what they say? You can't spell St. Louis without the L. So,
Yep. Too bad that there isn't a second one in there because that's what history has shown time
right.
and time again. St. Louis steps up to the plate when it matters most and fails. Take it, St. Louis.
Oh,
Now,
not only that. Wait. They brag about that whole attendance thing. Wasn't it like the lowest attendance in their history?
the
Yeah.
lowest attendance in recent years. Uh, I don't know what the numbers are offhand. Guys, understand tonight. Oh yeah, yeah, he gets it. That's awesome for him. Um, guys, we're gonna talk trash for St. Louis. The people that we're closest to, Excalibur specifically, the Battlenecks, the Jedi guy, the diehards. We've got nothing but respect for you, and I'm sorry that it didn't work out. Okay, sometimes that's the way it goes.
Are we?
Right? We lost the
I mean,
championship.
I'm not sorry it didn't work out, but hey, our friends, the people we know, those people are all right. Everyone else, they can suck it. Okay.
Right, and that's what I was gonna say. Look, I'm even going to be nice and change my name just so we don't catch the ban here. Okay.
Oh shit! Here we go. Putting you in,
Oh,
bro.
here we go.
Hello, guys.
DJ,
What's up, DJ?
what is
Glad you
up,
could join
DJ?
us. You missed a very fun 4-minute intro.
Yep. You notice I've got the cigar. There's a reason for it. Okay. For the diehards, nothing but respect for you guys. Birmingham, St. Louis, all you guys, right? And even Birmingham, we've talked about it before. Birmingham does have a little bit more of a special place in my heart because we've met the fans and we've seen what they're like. And we've seen that they're not nearly as bad as what we made them out to be.
Mm-hmm.
We thought they were going to be the St. Louis of the East. Turns out they're pretty decent folks. They're not bad. Okay. They invited us to tailgates, all the normal stuff that the UFL fans would do. Okay. But St. Louis, you have consistently, time and time again, proven over and over to this league, to the NFL, and to the world why you guys don't deserve the things that you get. You made racial epithets last night. Okay.
Ooh.
Talked all kinds of trash on Facebook about how everybody else sucks and how everybody else is the problem and they're princesses and they're this and they're that and they're whatever. You made homophobic comments specifically to me. Okay.
I got the princess and uneducated comment.
Yeah.
These were
Yep.
from grown men, and I did not name
You got
call
men. You got to
grown men. I
grown men.
didn't
Men.
name call. I was just spitting truth. And let me
Yep.
tell you what, St. Louis, they get their feathers ruffled real quick, and those men were really ready to attack me. And
Yep.
again, the first thing that we're the attendants, we're the ones that hold these blah 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 blah. Nobody cares about your attendance. Nobody cares.
Yeah, you know what? Like I said, probably the lowest of the season, 27,000, and halfway through the fourth quarter, there was like 500.
Yeah,
people in
that
dome.
at the end of
So,
the day, your attendance doesn't mean jack if you don't support your team, win or lose. I stayed
Well,
there. Look, I've stayed
y'all
at our games till the very end.
y'all was
I
looking
have
for beef
never
though.
Oh, all the time. That's because
Absolutely.
they squawked the whole time.
I'm just saying, y'all was looking for beef, so you think they was definitely gonna respond. We talking
Oh,
about
I gave the beef. I cooked it up.
UFL Cowboys fans. That's what we talking
yeah,
about.
I mean that's
I even wore the shirt just to remind them that once again they didn't make it.
the
And
last time they lost in the playoffs, which
yeah,
that's what I haven't seen St. Louis get their ass kicked in the playoffs since the last time they were in the playoffs.
and look,
So
I'm a huge Brahmas fan, and I literally told them in the chat they playing like they're the Brahmas right now. Like, what is going on?
Yep.
I could not believe it. Like, I mean, well, karma sucks, so
Mhm.
it is what
and
it is.
I've been saying for a while now, they're fans of the Cowboys, fans of the UFL. Well, it turns out their team is the Cowboys of the UFL as well.
Yep.
And I say
Just
that
keep getting bounced
as
out.
a Cowboys fan. So
They just keep getting bounced out, and yeah, I mean, I even talking to my family, like they casual UFL fans, and I was just like, they remind me literally of the Cowboys. Cowboys,
except
they
Cowboys
always wait.
have actually
Yeah,
won. Cowboys
yeah,
have
but
actually won in
that's
the
what I'm about to
past,
say. Like
but
Cowboys fans always bounce back to the old days when they was winning Super Bowl, stuff like that, right? The equivalent to that with the Battlehawks fans is they always go to the attendance. Like,
yeah.
bro, I care about that. What we talking about right now?
Call
Like,
their
y'all
job.
always get bounced out. Y'all get bounced out, and then
Yep.
they talk all the garbage. They supposed to be quote unquote America's team from the UFL. Like, come on, man.
But then again, you want to talk all this crap about attendance, but at the end of the day, you don't support the league because next week is going to be the same thing as we saw last championship.
Yeah.
Even in their groups, we saw who's going to the game. It was a majority of their poll as a no.
Oh,
Yep.
and the thing is,
kind of
why would I go to a game that my team's not in?
Exactly.
Because you got picked to host the league championship, because you are the best fans, because you will support the league. They didn't do it last year. They're not going to do it this year. I think Mike over here asked over under 15K for the attendance. I'm sure it's going to be over distributed, just like this one. 27,000. There wasn't no 27,000 fans in that state, in that dome.
Not even.
I think the ones that bought tickets anticipating once again that they were going to be in the championship, there's going to be that won't go. Distributed over, actual attendance way under.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think the DC fans, and I think especially, well,
I think
maybe not in
Michigan.
Michigan.
I think
So Michigan's an 8-hour drive away. There will be some that travel. I don't know how many it's going to be. If it's going to make up, maybe 1,000 travel, which sounds like a lot, but in terms of attendance, it's not really. DC is further away. You'll probably have a few travel. So
Yeah, it's gonna be spotted. I think for the DC fans, it's gonna be spotted. Like you'll see red here and there. Maybe definitely on the side where DC is, but it's not gonna be that many. I think it would be more Michigan fans, and it's just a shame that we even have to talk about this because they supposed to be the anchor of the UFL as far as attendance, and it's like a slap in the face. Like, oh, you want to brag and boast about your attendance. Now you're not in the championship game. Now you're not going to show up to support the
Well,
league. And I see people in the comments talking about, I'd be surprised if we don't even have a league next year. I'm like, bro, like, how would you? They don't even sound right, bro. Like, what are we talking about?
They really think that they're the ones that are keeping this league together. They really think that.
They do. They're that delusional.
But I just hope that next season, when it does come around, that there is more availability in other stadiums so that they don't get a chance to host again. Because, again, they are terrible hosts. They are terrible fans. Because what they're going to do is if they do show up, they're going to do what they're claiming that they don't do is be jerks. They're going to be mean to not only the fans, but to the players because they do that at their regular games. Yeah. So they don't deserve it. They don't deserve it.
And boo DC fans. I can see them booing DC fans.
Oh yeah, they're going to do that exactly because they're bitter. They're bitter.
Oh,
another year.
I mean, of course, selfishly, I would love to have it in San Antonio again, but that's just because I don't want to travel. I'll absolutely go. I don't care who's playing it. No. I will go. I will go to the championship game if it's in San Antonio.
We didn't care year one.
You know what?
I'm sorry. I think by far we've been the best host city. Hands down. We had no connection with that game whatsoever. And Brahmas fans showed up in force.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you notice, all teams showed up in force. We had every team represented there.
Yep.
Vegas, even if it Orlando, was Seattle. Now, true.
All welcome too. They was all welcome too.
All welcome.
Yeah. Now, St. Louis. I mean, we saw last year that there were some other teams that were represented. I think we even saw a guy show up with a Vegas Vipers shirt, which was odd because they didn't have a team in the league last year, and the guy's still, one of the diehard faithfuls. But they didn't get the same reception. Nobody got the same reception as what they did in San Antonio. The facts are facts, right? We are a great host city. We open up to everybody. Excalibur, man, love you, bro. Sorry things didn't necessarily work out to a certain extent. But I'm also sorry, not sorry, that St. Louis didn't go on. So.
And none of this that we're talking about is directed towards you, just so you know.
Yes.
And I want to kind of fall back to the St. Louis fans saying why would I go to a championship game where my team isn't involved? It's amazing how like the mind shift and the posts have changed. Like just keep moving the goalposts for them. Because it's we're going to support the league. We're the best fans in the league. League would exist without us. Oh, well, if you lose, you're not going to go to the game. Well, of course I'm not going to go to the game. My team's not there. Look, we already bought tickets. The only thing the league cares about is the tickets bought, the revenue. They don't care about who actually goes to the games. And then why would I go to the game? Why would I drive? What did one guy said? 150 miles round trip to go to the game, bro. We got Brahma Babe that does that every single week. Yeah. You know what? If the championship was in Houston, was in Arlington, guarantee you, most of us would go to that game just to support the league.
Let me ask you guys a question around the horn. Do you guys watch the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Absolutely.
For the commercials and halftime.
It's the most watched event every year on TV.
And you made me go there. If I had a chance to go to the Super Bowl, I don't care who's playing.
And Echo Fortis.
Absolutely 100% I would go. 100% I would go. I don't care if it was the Eagles that were playing. And
it's the experience, yeah.
You'd go and boo the Eagles, and it would be fun.
I would go. I would wear my Cowboys gear, and I would boo the hell out of the Eagles. Absolutely.
Why can't we get the same attitude here? Why?
Apples and oranges. Apples and oranges. And I'm gonna be the difference.
I mean, it is. You can't expect the Super Bowl to be on the same level as the UFL championship.
Yeah, it's apples and oranges. But I get where you're going. But it's just it's apples and oranges. Like, to be honest.
I think to Jay's point though, the city that is hosting this game should go make it be like their Super Bowl. They should go and attend because
Absolutely.
they were given the privilege of hosting a championship. They should support.
I agree
the
with
league.
that.
They should
I
go,
agree with that.
St. Louis is not getting a major sporting event anytime in the near future. This is kind of going to be it. This is going to be the crown jewel. Why not be good ambassadors and show up and show out? Represent your city and your team. Be good sports. Be ambassadors. Kind of like we've done, right? Kind of like other cities have done. Do the right thing. That's what I'm trying to say. You'll do it for the Super Bowl, but you're not going to do it for something that's a little bit closer, that's more attainable. Doesn't
But
make
not only
sense
that,
to
but
me.
if the whole season you're just out there squawking about this and that, my team, and then all of a sudden you just fall off. Like I don't.
Mhm.
That's where I don't. That's the disconnect that I don't get. Is like that's like us talking all about our Brahmas. Like we know we were terrible. There's nothing you
Yep.
can tell us that's gonna hurt our feelings. At the end of the day, you still didn't make it. We did. Yeah, we didn't win the championship, but we still made it.
We
And
know
we
what
were
it's like to win a playoff game.
Ouch. Very
That's
true.
a low blow. And no, I'm not in the bathroom, man. It's the background. Relax. I'm up moving around. I haven't set my stuff up yet, so I'm up kind of
It's-
like moving around.
It's the Alamo. It's the Alamo basement
So you said that-
bathroom.
Why would I be?
Pretty
Why would I
much on
be?
that one.
Do this look like a dark basement? Like what the hell?
You came in just for the
the
show.
acoustics.
Yeah.
The acoustics can't be beat.
So if it was the chance for them to make it something and show the league that that y'all are who y'all say y'all are, it would be a perfect time to show up and pack the
Yeah.
dome to like
Yeah.
40,000 and just cheer for whoever you want to. Like you don't have to boo anybody. You could honestly shoot half of the stadium could cheer for Michigan, the other half could cheer for DC. It just don't matter. I mean, or you could just all cheer for the XFL conference. Like it's just simple, man. But
Or just sit back and enjoy the game. I mean, you don't.
I guess that's why Kroenke left, man. I'm sorry to say, but I guess that's why.
They're just proving his point. They're
Kroenke
literally
was
just-
right.
Exactly.
Kroenke was right.
Exactly.
I mean, at the end of the day, all they've done is just prove all of our points. Because at the end of the day, even when look, I'm a pot stirrer, and I don't even care who knows that. If you see me in the comments, hell yeah, I'm talking crap, and I don't even care because it's not even talking crap. I'm just telling you the truth.
We're just
And then-
we're providing truth.
I'm enlightening you, and you're just proving my point. Literally, I literally in those comments said you guys always resort to name calling and trying to go below the belt, and that's literally what they did. They do it to their fans, to other fans. They do it to players. Anywhere we've gone, even when we went to DC, the reason why we couldn't go to the beer snake section because why? St. Louis
St. Louis fans messed it up.
Every time St. Louis is somewhere, they've done something stupid.
I think y'all had. I think they had 27. He said 27,000. I think it was 27,000 tickets distributed.
So yeah,
not in the stands.
Excalibur. Let's be clear on
break it down for them.
This is tickets distributed at the game. Butts in seats attendance. There was no more than 15,000 people there last year. There were a lot of people,
and y'all was there.
Tickets in anticipation, and they got pissed off because they lost, and then didn't go to the game. So,
not only that, but one guy in the comments, what did he tell me? It's not about the. It's about
they already sold the tickets. They already got the revenue. It's not about who actually shows up. It's just how many they sell.
It was about tickets they sold, not asses in the seat. I beg to differ. Because season 1 of XFL, y'all were opening up extra levels. Y'all haven't done that since.
That is true, Jackie. That's facts. It was in the 400 levels.
Exactly. And I haven't seen that. I didn't see it last season. I didn't see it this season. So
I think they do have some 400 levels open and some are like the upper bowl because like in the game, you could see a few people up there, but it was, super low.
That's because they won them real, like they won $15 tickets. They wanted to try to get them cheap tickets.
Well, for this year, you can see the tickets that they're selling. They're trying to squeeze people into the TV frame to make it look like there's more.
Oh,
right?
yeah. And did y'all see this? Did y'all see this crap? The fans
surprise me.
The fans that were chanting for silver, wanting silvers to go in. basically Hakeem went over there, told him to shut up, and then they started like getting on to Hakeem, and apparently
One of their star players.
He was having to be held back from like going after the fans.
Stop it!
Didn't that already happen once this year in St. Louis?
Well, that was a Michigan player, but that was because he got spat on. So you know,
you see what I mean?
Excalibur. That's not the point, man. That's not the point.
Yeah, because we don't
So when we
about our attendance.
So when we address your comment and we correcting your comment, it's like we throwing shade on. That's not shade, bro. We correcting you. That's all. It's just facts.
And let's be realistic here. St. Louis is the outlier. You know, we're in year 2 of a startup league that was formed from a merger of 2 other startup leagues. 10 to 15,000 per game is a pretty good average in year 2 of a league. You know, now St. Louis, they want to put themselves on a whole other pedestal. They want to say, we're the top fans in the league. We're going to get 30, 40,000. So you know what? You're going to be judged on that pedestal. The rest of us are going to be judged on a 10 to 15,000 person pedestal because that's where we should be. So you want to put yourself up on pedestal, St. Louis? Go ahead and be judged up there.
Let's talk. Okay.
Let's talk.
St. Louis as a team. 2020, they had a team. And the season was suspended because of COVID. Okay. 23, they had a team. They finished 3rd. 24, they had a team. Finished first. Lost to us in the playoffs. How many did we see there at the playoff game? How many did we see the year before in 23 when it was here in San Antonio? 25, again, finished first, lost in the XFL conference or in the XFL conference game. How many are we going to see at the game? It's about supporting the league. I'm looking at the average attendance numbers right now. Okay. St. Louis has their best year was 23, and they've been falling off since. Okay. Let's talk about it. Our numbers are growing. Everybody's numbers are starting to grow. St. Louis's are starting to diminish. Now, again, this is not towards Battlehawk, or I'm sorry, Excalibur, any of the diehards. Okay, we've got nothing but love and respect for you. Understand, we are calling out your fair weather fans that expect you guys to win everything and expect the league to treat them like the princesses that they want to be treated like. That ain't how this works. Okay. You live with your team, you die with your team. When your team is out, you support the rest of the league. Okay. This idea that St. Louis can make or break the league, while it's not completely far-fetched, yeah, we would have a little bit of a revenue problem if we lost, you know, that St. Louis stream. However, it's almost getting to a point where is it going to be worth it? Because you've had 2 incidences this year with players interacting with fans, in addition to the things that we've been calling out all week long, right? How much more? And maybe this is a problem with your security. Maybe this is, you know,
oh yeah, absolutely,
that needs to be handled. But you guys consistently, as a fan base, are pushing the rules and pushing the boundaries and putting yourself in bad situations and bad lights. Okay,
get out of here, bro. Get out of here,
That's
bro.
on you. Okay,
Shut up, Eagles fan.
Just like BD and I have certain things that we'll say, certain things that we won't say. When people in our section cross the line, and DJ can attest to this, when certain people cross the line, that's when we call them out as a fan base, because we don't want to be known as that. We put entirely too much blood, sweat, and tears into helping support this league, into making it a reality and something permanent for us. Because let's be honest, San Antonio is not going to get an NFL team, at least not anytime soon. So probably not in my lifetime. So this is what I have, and this is what I'm going to support. I'm not going to let clowns around me represent me by saying homophobic things or trash talking people's families and stuff like that. Those guys are out there busting their behinds, blood, sweat, and tears, trying to chase their dream. I'm going to support them, or I'm going to razz them a little bit, but I'm certainly not going to make it personal, and I'm not going to, make myself look like trash fans, and I won't let that happen in my section.
And
That's
I
what you guys
think
should be doing.
and I think that's important, to go to, Excalibur's point here. Absolutely true, Excalibur. Every group of fans, every crowd, every, thing has a certain amount of assholes in the group. That's, we have our own. The more you have, the more there are. But it's reliant on the group people around them that aren't the assholes to tell them, hey, that crap's not going to be tolerated. You're not going to be, don't be, dropping the N word to players when you're sitting in the section. I think most people, or a lot of people, saw the post where somebody was saying there was a group of people in the end zone section. They're just, yelling, cursing, screaming at players and saying racial stuff to them. Everyone around them should have beat the crap out of those people that were doing that.
That would have been a
That
heartbeat.
cannot be tolerated. And if, as a fan base, if you allow other people to do that, you're just as guilty as them.
Preach it, baby. Preach it. So, Excalibur, let me ask you, based on what BD just said, you disagree that the bigger the city, the more the a-holes? What has your section done to keep that from happening? What has your section done to encourage other sections not to allow that to happen? Right? And I'm not calling you out specifically, understand. I'm just saying, call them out. Encourage other people to call out fan behavior like that, because they're representing you to the rest of us here, this group, right?
Yeah.
And to the rest of the league. People are going to see that and think that's what you're all like. Okay?
I think that's the point we're trying to get at too, is that these people are what's representing you guys more than the good that you guys are doing. It's because it's literally almost every game, or it's just the fact that there's instances with players. What other fan base and teams have you heard that they've gotten into altercations with the players? Nobody. But these are
here in
the
UFL.
fans in your team, in your groups, that are representing you, and that's what's showing up. That's why it upsets a lot of us that are out here trying to do good and trying to give the UFL a good name, the fan base a good name to represent. And I never seen, I mean, besides the handful like you, Excalibur, and some of the other ones that have done so much good, all that crap overshadows all of the good stuff that you guys do, and that sucks.
Right. Going along with what you're saying, guys like Excalibur and Mark, the Beard, Toby, right? All these guys are doing all this good work in the name of their team and in the name of the league. And all of that gets overshadowed. We do work for our team and for the league. Brahma Babe, Rig Rocker, Predator Couple. Like I could sit here and name off all these names, right? But all it takes is incidences like that will completely ruin it. So we've said it before. Sometimes we have to be responsible for policing our own group.
Yep.
And this is the proof of that. BD and I brought a friend of mine who absolutely went crazy. And
we tell you what,
we dealt with it. I mean, there probably were some more things that we could have done.
I mean, I did like grab him and force him into the seat a few times just to get him from yelling, and kind of got him to quiet down. But he also hasn't been to a game since then.
Nope.
No, but we just as easily could have called our friend and turned him over to security and been like, we're done dealing with him. He's a grown man. He's responsible for his own actions. Regardless, take him away, because we don't want him representing us. We still talk about it now, but we talk about it now, and that was 2 years ago. We talk about it now to remind us that there is a limit, and we're not going to put up with that crap. We're asking you guys do the same thing, okay? Don't let a couple of bad apples, as you're saying, ruin everything that you guys are doing. Call these folks out. You see a guy leaning over the railing, and I do have to say this. I will compliment the St. Louis fans that did eventually call that guy out and called it for what it was. It was an assault on a player. But you should have said something there at the time and had that guy escorted out and banned for life. I got a feeling he's not banned. I just got a feeling that he was publicly ridiculed, and that was it. So, anyways, I'm done on the bandwagon there. St. Louis has taken their knocks. I've gotten my shots in. I guess we could probably talk about the game overall if you would like. But
If we were like, I mean, at the end of the day, I was not surprised, but I was surprised at how the game turned out because I was rooting for Michigan. I was rooting for DC. So I was surprised how Birmingham just kind of buckled. Like, I was very surprised.
I thought that Michigan would win pretty handedly. I thought DC St. Louis was going to be a really close game. I did not expect that to be the blowout that it was.
The games turned out the way that I thought they would, but they turned out the opposite that I thought they would. Okay, Birmingham kept.
I don't even understand what he just said.
I thought the Michigan game was going to be a huge, huge blowout. That Birmingham was going to get like a 36-18, not a 44-29. And Birmingham tried to stay in that game. They just kept getting in their own way and shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
The DC game, Jorge and I talked about it last week, and we were actually in agreement. I told you guys to mark it down on the calendar because we actually agreed on something. DC came out serious, with intent. Put the exclamation on the point or on the statement early. And there was never a time where it looked like St. Louis was going to be able to rally back and death. That's what happens when you're stupid. Anyways,
hey, let DJ talk, yo. Oh, he just
DJ got to come back. Come back, DJ.
Got to come back to talk.
It's okay, DJ. You don't have to leave. We'll let you talk.
Yeah. Anybody that watches the show knows that DJ talks.
He's trolling. He's trolling.
Oh yeah.
He's trolling. But I don't my camera froze. I don't know why I did that.
That's okay. At least you don't have a dumb face that it froze on.
It's your Geo.
Yeah, my camera froze. But he's trolling.
Okay. What happens when you have a kitty colony?
But look, I was wrong on the the Birmingham pick. Mm-hmm. I thought that they would
No, you picked
Michigan. No. The Battlehawks pick. I'm sorry. I thought they would.
You picked Michigan and St. Louis.
Yeah, I thought they would show up, but I guess not. And we can't even really say we like I can't say that I'm like no I'm keeping that trophy. So now you about to try to claim the trophy this whole time.
Should have been counting playoffs the whole time. All right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm gonna be like the Battle Chicken fans and move the goalpost.
I don't know why. Let me see if I can work into my laptop. Try to get on my laptop. But yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised.
I mean, I'm not. I mean, I felt like they were going to come out and do what they needed to do. I mean, I was happy that I finally got the right picks for a whole week. It was a winning week for me, and it doesn't even count. Terrible. Are you there? Are we there?
Are we there?
But I think the games were just they were great games. It was fun watching football this past weekend. I'm gonna be really sad when this ends next weekend. No. This went by entirely too fast. So welcome back.
Like nothing happened.
At all.
Like nothing happened.
Was it your
Except
Thumbcat? It did. Was it the Thumbcat? He just grabbed it and said, "Forget this."
He was trying to take over the world, and he got caught. That's all.
just he suplex your helmet stand.
Yep.
He said, "I
He's
hate this
crazy.
mariachi hat."
He kind of did. It was kind of a targeted attack, and I feel a little triggered by that right now. Not gonna lie.
So I will
But
say
no.
for the Birmingham Michigan game, I missed the first half of the game. I was over at my parents doing family stuff. I kind of tuned into about halfway through the third quarter. I see that Corral played a lot more than Jamar Smith. Did he start and Jamar came in, or did Jamar start and then Corral came in afterwards?
I'm pretty sure Jamar started.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's what we had talked about, that Jamar had the hot hand, and then
So he
because of the issues,
came out, kind of
That's-
started slow, so they brought Corral in.
yeah, kind of like the same thing with what's his name in St. Louis. But
With
Silvers
Duggan.
got
Yeah,
pulled
they
out.
brought Silvers in entirely too late.
Yeah, and Silvers got hurt, so they had to pull him out.
Yeah, well, yeah, he
Uh,
first series he got freaking first year because it was on the conversion. He got fell on and jacked his shoulder blade up.
You know what's funny? I'm not a big Silvers fan, so I when I heard or rumors that San Antonio was supposed to get Brandon Silvers, this is early on before the season. I was not a fan of it. I'm not a big Silvers fan. The time that he did play this past game, he looked decent. But the funny part is, St. Louis had the number one ranked offensive line in like multiple categories this whole season, and they looked defeated. Like like that DC's defense was getting it. They was only rushing 4, and they was getting to that man. Like it was just crazy, and I was so shocked. And I was like, I didn't expect DC's defense to dominate like they did, especially up front and against that offensive line. They kept on like pushing like how good that offensive line is. They even got a nickname. I can't think of the nickname that they call it. Like it's just number one ranked rushing, number one ranked pass. Like I think least sacks allowed. Like just crazy stats. And then I was just like, they just got dominated. And all it takes is one game, honestly. And then DC showed that that's all it takes. It's one game. Just show up.
I will say this too. And if I'm being completely honest, no, I still would go for Michigan. I'm still going for Michigan at the end of the day on this one. I'm not doing XFL side of it. What about you guys?
Now, with Michigan winning, I would root for Michigan over St. Louis. If Birmingham had won, I probably would go for St. Louis.
Story.
I probably would be rooting for St. Louis if Birmingham won.
That's like me watching like the Patriots and the Eagles play again.
Yeah.
I'm going for the halftime show.
No.
What about you guys?
I think just like what BD said, being that it's Michigan and there's just I don't know, there's just something about Michigan you got to love. I think this is going to be an incredible game, by the way. But if Michigan didn't make it in and Birmingham did, I would probably be going for anybody that would be playing against against Birmingham, up to and including St. Louis, right? Because at least it is our conference.
And I'm
tired just because I don't want to hear that, the 4 times BS next season. So
as much as I hate both Birmingham and St. Louis, if St. Louis, this is the answer to this question, if St. Louis was in the championship game, I would be rooting for St. Louis. I'm an XFL home teamer. I always been an XFL home teamer. Yes, I watched the USFL when it was a thing, but it still wasn't that type of vibe and that type of feel that I get from being a true XFL fan. Like I've been an XFL fan since they came back, so you would never see me rooting for a USFL team, and I'm so glad. Now I know there was rumors saying like that they was planning on breaking up the XFL and the USFL thing, and then just making it North and South, which I hate. Like I wish they would just keep it like it is, add teams to whether the USFL conference or the XFL conference. Do not go away with the conference, bro. Just keep it like it is, because to me, even though people say, "Oh, it's no rivalry no more," like they everybody's equal now. No, bro, it's still a rivalry. It's still XFL versus USFL to me, in my opinion. Like I'm still going to root for XFL teams over USFL teams. So in a championship game, this championship game, I'm gonna root for DC, even though I didn't want them to win. And I picked not. It's not that I didn't want them to win. I just thought that St. Louis would win. But in this case, DC is in a championship game, so I'm rooting for DC. XFL all day, all day.
I can
I'm
respect
loyal
that.
to the league. Michigan, I'm going for the underdogs.
Yep.
You going for Michigan?
Yeah, I sure am.
Whoa,
Write that down.
whoa. Why? Can you
I know.
explain? You know,
I
Jackie, I
I
have
was
some advice for
born.
you.
I pick with my heart.
I got some advice for you, Jackie.
Go ahead. Let me hear what you got to say.
We gotta do some. We gotta help you out because why you pick Michigan? Why would you pick Michigan?
Look, I was very impressed with them all season. All season. I was not expecting them to play the way that they did, or that they did just this entire season. I absolutely think that they have the drive and the want right now.
I love watching Perkins.
I do too. I love Perkins
I
too.
love watching
His family was great.
Teua, whatever, however you say his name. I love watching him run. Like just the attitude that they play with. I love watching them play.
And it's not that I have anything against DC. I love DC. I love watching them play too. But Michigan they just proved something this season, and I'll back it.
So who are the favorites?
I haven't seen it come out yet. I don't.
The line should be out. The line should be out.
It's not that I'm not loyal to XFL. At the end of the day, it's the league. I support the league, and when it comes to this championship, all the best to DC. But I want to see Michigan win. I do.
I don't know. I think
by 3.
Oh, so then y'all right. The underdog. Y'all going for underdogs. Okay.
Yep. Yep. And as John said earlier, I mean,
good point, John.
Amu is the best quarterback in St. Louis, so
good point.
Always has been, always will be. Now,
like they call Kansas City in the NFL, they call Kansas City Burrowhead because it's Joe Burrow. But we got to find a nickname for DC. I mean, Jordan Ta'amu in St. Louis.
I mean, everybody's calling it Audi West. I think that's pretty fitting.
Ooh, Audi West.
Yeah,
that's fire.
Yep. So, and that's not me. That's the fans that have called that.
Yep. So, hey, they won twice in the Dome. Both games they played in the Dome this year, DC won.
Yep. So, very, very exciting.
Well, what news do we have?
Who are you picking, Jay? Oh, what'd you say,
for
Jackie?
This game?
Oh no, let him say his pick.
Yeah, who are you picking for this game coming up?
I thought we talked about it last week, but I'm running with Michigan. And the reason why is because I think there's, just something special happening in that season there. They, had such a bad season last year. They were overlooked. Well, I say they had a bad season. They were overlooked by everybody, fought back against, some serious odds, and wound up being a contender towards the end. Forgive me, I'm trying to adjust stuff. I think this year they started out again. Everybody was like, it's Michigan. What are they possibly going to do? And they fought all the way and earned their spot with everything that was against them in the UFL championship game. I like that underdog story. I've always, guys, I'm a Packers fan. I'm a Milwaukee Brewers fan in baseball, right? I'm used to being the underdog. I'm used to being, the one that everybody kind of looks past. So that story resonates with me. So I would like to see Michigan do well and win this championship. Now, all that to say, it's a tough choice because I like Michigan I like DC as a team. Also, I like DC as a fan base. One of our favorite players, who was on DC, got himself kind of removed and brought back in for the tail end. We didn't get to see him this season, and I'm seriously bummed about that. But we have a special rivalry with DC, so I'm not opposed to being a homer unless it's one of the NFC North teams that's in a playoff game. Then I'm never going to root for them. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. In this one, if it was anybody else but Michigan, I'd probably be swayed to root for DC pretty easily. But because it's Michigan and because of everything that they've had to go through this season, it's making for a great story, and I'm riding with Michigan.
All right. So I've not made my pick yet. I just said I like to watch the Michigan play. And I swear I've been back and forth with this since the game. I'm probably, you like your heart tells you who you want to root for, like when the game kicks off, like who you kind of celebrate, first downs and stuff like that. I think I'm probably going to lean more to Michigan for that. But as far as my official pick, I'm going to let the coin do the talking.
Oh, Lord.
Head Michigan, tails DC. So this is going to be my official pick. Heads, Michigan.
I'm just saying.
DC and DJ disappeared. There you go.
DJ's so mad he just left.
He's tired of this crap.
DC has left the chat.
He evaporated into the wall. Oh, well, let's talk about. We're already getting words on our players getting invited out to places. What y'all heard? What have y'all heard? So far, Corbin. Several teams.
DJ, you want to take this one?
Yeah, DJ.
Just Corbin, and I know we had a lineman. Huh?
I coughed.
Oh, I know for sure Corbin, and I think we had the long snapper. He got invited.
Yeah,
I can't remember the teams off top.
He got invited to the Texans, and then Garrett Nelson got a workout with the Broncos.
Oh yeah, and shout out to Lions. He proposed to his now fiance today.
Oh,
yeah. He posted it on Instagram. So he is now a fiance.
Good for him.
So far, a few of our guys.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get a few more under there.
Yeah, and it makes sense that you're going to start seeing a lot more of this now because obviously OTAs are going on in the NFL, and people are having.
OTA is over now. They're about to start minicamp next week.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Training camp.
My buddy Aaron Rodgers finally decided to show up in Pittsburgh, right? So, things are starting to pick up in the NFL. So you're going to start seeing a lot more of the ravaging of the UFL. I'm hopeful that Perkins and they were talking about it on the broadcast last night, that they would be really surprised if we don't see Perkins leading a team somewhere in the NFL next year. And I agree with that. Hopefully, though, that doesn't go to his head. Yes, like he who shall not be named.
I don't think that he will lead a team, but I probably can see him on maybe like a journeyman type player, like a PJ Walker. Yeah, maybe get opportunity here and there, but I don't because he had his time in the NFL before, but I think it'll probably be like a backup, and then hopefully get a shot and then see what he do. But it's probably gonna be identical to like what PJ Walker did, and PJ Walker's in the CFL right now, actually.
Yeah.
So
I hear the announcers saying that all the time, and I know this is a league for players who are looking to get another shot in the NFL or their first shot. but we hear it every week. Oh, this guy needs to get a shot at the NFL. He needs to be on an NFL roster. I still think, as much as I love this league, I mean, I'm passionate about it. I love it.
I'm with you 1,000%. I don't even know what you're about to say, but I'm with you.
There is a major talent gap between
It is
the best players in this league and the worst players in the NFL. We've seen Aubrey, Bates, Turpin. The special teams players stand out because that's translatable skills. But last year, Hakeem Butler, Offensive Player of the Year, by far the best player of the league, cut in training camp. I think we're going to see a lot of that. And I know these announcers are propping the league up, and I understand it. But every time I hear that, I'm like, come on. The league's not there yet. The league is not at the point of a talent level where it's right below the NFL, where the best players in the league are guaranteed spots on rosters.
We're not a funnel yet.
Yeah, it's going to take a few years and building up the skill set, the talent of these players to get to that point. I think we will eventually, but we're not there yet.
I'm with you 1,000%. And I was just talking to one of my family members about this too. I was like, it's a reason. I mean, we know, and I love the UFL, but we know why it exists for players that, is trying to get that second chance, that other opportunity. But when you actually watch the game, it's night and day, bro. Like, it's night and day. And we love it. I mean, I love it because it's football and it gives me that, it fills that void of the NFL. But when you're watching it, you see wide open. It was the game over the weekend. I think it was the Birmingham game. And dude was wide open down the field, just dropped the pass. Oh my God, John Trey Kirkland. Remember that one? Oh my goodness. Like those things.
You're gonna have to be a little more specific there.
I know, man. I think
he went and sat himself in the seat.
Yeah, so that's the John Trey one. That's so when I was talking about the Birmingham one, the John Trey one popped right in my head. Was like, bro, that was a prime example. But the Birmingham one, I think it was the Birmingham receiver. He was running wide open, and is like he burnt the player, the defender that was behind him, and then he just dropped it was in the bread basket. He just dropped it. It was for a touchdown too. I just can't remember the name. I think it was. I want to say Deion Kane, but I could be wrong. But yeah, that play, and then like I said again, like the John Trey cat, the drop, like those are the reasons why they not what they are. Like it's just sad, but it's just the truth, man. Like you just said, it's just levels above, and you see why.
Yeah.
And I think there's something to be said about this. This league was designed to be a transitional league, right? Players were not intending to kind of camp out here and Excalibur, we're going to do our best, but anyways,
we'll let you know after next weekend.
Yeah, but
maybe next season.
I'm noticing the ones that rise to the top are the ones that are willing to put in the extra work and fight and put in the extra time and do the extra stuff to get there. But it seems more likely that players are kind of content. I don't want to say content. I hate to say it that way.
That's a good word. That's a good word.
Content.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're
that's a good word.
With where they're at. Now, that's not everybody. Okay. And there are guys that are fighting just to even stay on the bubble, right? To stay relevant. But the ones that are kind of securely in the middle seem to be kind of okay with that. And it's like this league was designed for you to hone your skills to get to the next level. So you could try and make a run back in the NFL and be relevant. Yes, ma'am.
I think that kind of brings me to what I had said before in another pod that we did was, should we have a limit of how many years you can play in this before you're let go? Like, should 3 years be a max? And then if you haven't made it to that next level, we got to find some new talent that's out there that hasn't been picked up from college or that can come back and get some new footage. Like, should we have a limit?
I think it's tough, and I think I'm on a fence with that. I agree wholeheartedly on the whole, the content thing and being complacent. And, you've been here so long, like, and then it's just regular to you, right? But then I'm on the other side as it's also a business, so they trying to build the league up as well.
Yeah.
So and it's good. It's always good to have players that people know. Like we know the players, like they've been here a few years, so we know who they are. We know their names. They seen our face, stuff like that. So we grow as fans knowing the players type of thing. And yes, they've been around for a while, but we know them. So you got to be able to have some familiarities with the players and the fans and stuff. So you got to have those core players. I think keeping the core players is important. Like I can't see Jay Will leaving. I can't see Vontae back. You can't see Vontae leaving.
But I
You know what I'm
want to
saying?
see them I want to
Can't
see
see
them in the NFL.
Right. You can't see Jordan Mosley leaving. Like those guys are like the staple of our team. Like because we see them all the time. John Trey, but
This was not his season for sure.
yeah, Speedy, Stowe, like all those guys. Like we know those guys and they've been here, but then they the fan favorites type of thing. So I think it's a fence that you gotta straddle type of thing.
I think I'm gonna say no to the 3 to 4 years or whatever, and then move on kind of thing. Because I think this league, especially being a startup league like it is, needs some kind of star power. It needs a Jordan Ta'amu. It needs a Hakeem. It needs these players that are top of the league to kind of help carry it. Be the face of the league. Bryce Perkins, if he doesn't make it to the NFL, and I think as this league is building, it needs these players in this, face of the league position for as long as they can be. So
but then it defeats the whole
make it to the
purpose
NFL. But if they don't make it, then they're kicking ass here, and let them keep that way. Let them still kind of provide the star power for the league.
I guess that's where I'm just kind of conflicted because that just defeats the whole purpose of what the UFL is trying to do.
That's true. That's true. Then you get a guy like Jashawn Corbin.
It's here to give players an opportunity. And if the players are, if there's not new players pushing out older players, then the newer players aren't taking advantage of the opportunity. The old players still are. So,
but you get a guy like Jashawn Corbin, right? He was in the league. I think he was in the NFL last year with the Giants, but he gets the opportunity, comes in, takes the league by storm. I think he was either top 3 or top 5 in rushing.
Number one
in rushing. You see what I'm saying? So he took that opportunity to get himself back in the league. Hopefully get looks. Hopefully get signed. But it just so happened that somebody like McFarland goes down. Somebody like Lovett goes down. Somebody comes in to take their place, shines, and now he gets picked up by a team. So I think that's a big thing too.
I mean, McFarland was our number one, until he got hurt. Imagine how many yards Corbin had, like 575, somewhere around there, close to 600 yards. I mean, that was with him kind of taking a back seat to Corbin to McFarland and Lovett a lot in the beginning of the season too. So just imagine if he had played the whole game or the whole season, how many yards he would have.
But to Chris's point, that's a good thing because if they I hate it that they go, but if they grabbing players from us, that says a lot. That says that they good coach, they well coached players, they develop players, they ready for the next level. Rex still in the league. You got guys that came from other teams that's still in the league that's doing good. So you got Jake Bates still doing good. So that just shows like it's some positives with somewhere where it's doing what it's supposed to do. But if your players are getting grabbed from the NFL, that says a lot about the coaching staff.
Yeah,
and your mentality.
I think that's where we kind of failed this season, and that's why I'm kind of weary of how many of our players are actually going to get that opportunity because of it being coaching at the top.
We didn't. There wasn't a whole lot for us to showcase this year.
Yeah, not at all.
I mean, you said John Trey had a bad year. He wasn't the only one. I mean,
yeah, but
no, he wasn't. He wasn't.
But you have guys like Corbin. We were dead last in the league, but he was number one.
Yeah,
you can't say that either because some of these guys still showed up and did what they were supposed to do.
And I mean, how many games were we way behind that we had to kind of try to pass to get back in? That Corbin missed out of carries on too. So just the fact that we had the season that we had. We got our ass kicked in so many games, blown out so many games, and Corbin's still leading the league in rushing. It's crazy.
What was our highest score? Probably against DC.
20. Probably DC.
That was it.
Crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, DC or Michigan. I know. Well, maybe Memphis, because I know we had 22 in Memphis.
That don't even sound right.
24 against DC, 23 against Michigan.
Terrible.
Yeah, 22 against Memphis.
And then another 24 against DC at home. So,
yeah, I think if I don't think it doesn't even in this case, or in this this environment with the developmental type of league, I really don't even think it matters about your team record. It does, but at the same time it don't, because teams are like NFL teams are looking at like your progression, like looking at all of that skills, like your work ethic. Like when you come, are you taking it serious? Remember we was talking about this early on in the season. Are guys taking it serious when they get out there on that field? Yes, it's a development league, but they always watching. So are you taking it serious? Are you putting your team on your back, type of thing? So they look at all of that.
Are you quitting when halfway through the game? Which I think we said. I don't know if it was Jay. I don't know if it was here or if it was on TTF, but we had a few players that did that. Well, they weren't on the team at the end of the season. They got cut.
Yep.
So
to kind of wrap all that up, I think it's tough making that call. Whether we should have like term limits, if you will, for the veteran players, because it depends on the product that you're trying to produce. Yeah, we want to produce NFL players, but we still also want to have something for people to come to and watch. Right. And so I think that there's
like a give and take.
There's got to be a happy medium where you do have some core guys to establish that consistency, the fan favorites, if you will, whatever, like some of the guys that we have, and then bringing in some new blood to change up the scenery and try and develop, give everybody the same opportunity. But, if you're not quite making it over the cusp, you've got a team to come back to.
I got a question actually for all of y'all, and if people want to comment and put their answers in, and just to get an idea of where people's mindset is, right? So you get a guy like Te'amu, or a guy like that's a staple in the league, and they keep going to the NFL to try out, and they keep getting dropped. Come back next season, ball out in the UFL, go to the NFL, do tryouts, don't make it, and they back in the UFL. How many times would it take for you to just be like, all right, I'm done trying with the NFL. I'm just going to stay in the UFL and just continue to play football? Like, just use it as a regular league, right? Like, how many times would it take y'all for just to be like, forget it?
It wouldn't. If it was really what I wanted, I would not stop. It could be 20 times that I go and get knocked out. I'd go 21, 22. If that was my end goal, I will do it until I can no longer play.
I'm going to agree with Jackie.
Because, hey, it just takes one season, one good practice in an NFL training camp, one good preseason game, that you get picked for a team. And there you go. Now you got a chance to show yourself. So
if I'm a player, as long as I can look at myself in the mirror and say that I know I've given it my all and that opportunity just has not presented itself yet, then I agree 100%. Get knocked down 10 times, get back up 11. Doesn't matter. As long as I know that I'm doing everything out there. Now, because again, this is going to be on an individual basis. It's up to the player. When the player reaches that point that they say, you know what, I've given it my all, nothing's changing, I'm not developing, I'm not getting there, my dream is done. That's on an individual basis, man. And nobody can really say, well, it should be done in 5 games. It should be done in 3. The idea, I mean, the chances of becoming a professional football player are so minute as it is. This is an opportunity for people to kind of refine that opportunity and get a better chance out of it. But it's up to the player, you know. So again, up to the player. If they want to make a 20-year career out of it, if they want to be the Aaron Rodgers of spring football and play 45 years, as long as they can still move, man, it's up to them. Now we'll harass the hell out of them about it, but you know, that is what it is.
Now they might get tired of getting harassed by you on the 50-yard line, man. They're just like, I gotta go, man. I gotta go. I don't care if it's the EFL,
I'm done.
IFL, something.
I think that's
Going
I think that's what happened to Bellamy this year, man. He saw he was going to come sit with us. He's like, no, you know what? They just played Houston. I'm gonna go sign with Houston, and then once that's done, you know what? I'm gonna go back to DC.
Yep. I would like to think that was the case, but I don't think that's the case. Anyways, okay. So I think I don't know if you guys want to talk about it or not. I mean, we could probably spend a whole episode on it. But the AJ Smith interview.
Oh, I knew this was coming up.
I think it's worth at least mentioning.
Break it down for us. Break it down for us.
Messy.
I don't want to.
You don't want to break it down?
I don't want to.
So,
so how do you feel about it? I guess from what you've taken from it.
AJ's messy.
This was my thought listening to him. It seems that he has some valid points, you know, but there's two sides to every story.
Okay.
There's
more than two sides.
AJ's side, there's the team side, and then there's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I mean, I'm looking at it from his perspective. If what he's saying is true about, you know, like being told that, you know, the Reed was going to take over as acting coach, and then it ended up being Party, and AJ's been there, and he's kind of the OC. Like, I'm like, you know, that may tick me off as well too. I don't know. I don't know how that went down. I mean, it may have been just like he said. It may have been, you know, complete opposite of what he said, and that's just the way he perceived it. So,
right.
I don't know what the truth is, but looking at it from his perspective, I can see how he could be kind of ticked off with some of that stuff.
Yeah. So real quick, I want to comment on.
And then,
yeah, I want to comment on Chris's thing. Again, I think it's fair to note that he turned. Can you guys stop fighting over control over the comments, please? You're getting me car sick. Chris, I think it's important to note here that yes, McCarron did turn us down the second time, but the reason why he turned us down is because he knew he wasn't ready. Okay. It wasn't like he was in game shape, so he wasn't going to take a responsibility like that. And my hat's off to him for doing that. Will he come back next year? Chances are probably.
You don't think so?
I think he might. I think he might.
I don't want to be that person, man. But I didn't, and I said it in our private chat. I didn't want AJ. I didn't want AJ McCarron, man. I didn't. I'm not a big fan of him. We don't need, and I keep saying this. I said this before. Like, the league is moving more towards a quarterback, a dual threat quarterback, and AJ McCarron is not that. He's getting older. He can still sling it for sure, but I think we need somebody that's going to be that dynamic piece that we need at quarterback. Like, I wouldn't be happy to have him. Like, yes, he could pass, but the reason I also think he didn't come too because our offensive line wasn't all of that. So he was about to get murdered.
Exactly. Imagine AJ, you know, can't run. I mean, he's not a runner. He is a pocket passer. Imagine a pocket passer behind our offensive line this year. That man would have gotten killed.
He wouldn't have made it past like this first or second game.
You mean like 2023? You mean like the start of 2024? Like kind of like the start of this season?
All of our seasons?
Yeah. Like
last year we had a good line. 23 this year, no. But yeah, AJ, he's a great player when he's got time to throw, when he's got time to read the field.
Right.
He wouldn't have had that
Right. And
this year.
people were saying like,
So-
he I don't know why, that he didn't take that job, and then we didn't fight to get AJ because we needed a quarterback. But I'm like, I don't think AJ could save our season, bro. It was already too far gone.
No.
Yeah.
And I mean, we were calling several quarterbacks for that Week 9 game because all of our quarterbacks were hurt. Hogan had just got put on the injured list.
Yep.
Mon was dealing with an injury. He just ended up playing through it because he was really the only quarterback that I know we had just signed that new kid, but
Yep.
he wasn't ready to play. So, I know there was we reached out to a lot of quarterbacks just because we were trying to figure out trying to get one to come in because all of our guys were hurt.
Now, if Michigan, like with Chris, if Michigan released Bryce Perkins, hey, I'm in Arlington. I'm in Arlington in front of the UFL building with a sign all day, every day. Sign Bryce. I'm looking for Mark. I'm gonna be at Mark DMs all day, every day. Sign Bryce Perkins.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if Michigan was to make a stupid decision like that, there'd be 9 other teams or 7 other teams, whatever. You know what? If they've expanded by then, however many teams, every team would be angling for Perkins. I mean, that man he's not going to win the MVP just because he was out the last 3 weeks. Other than that, he had that MVP on lock.
Yep. I'm kind of surprised they didn't call old Frankencone, when we were looking for a quarterback.
What do you mean, Cone Zone?
Yeah, it probably took him too long to get to the phone, so he missed it because he's slow. Come on, guys, that was comedy gold. All right, man, I hate you all,
dude. They can't all be home runs. All right, sometimes
they got to be singles. Sometimes they got to be singles.
Sometimes it's a sacrificial fly.
A sack fly or bunt.
Right.
Sometimes it's
on that
move
note,
the runner.
On that note, we all have our picks in. Everybody know who they're going for this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got DC.
Okay.
The coin said Michigan, so
3v1. I wonder if DJ is going to be wearing his shades next week or not. So
I don't know. I don't. I think that'll be a good game. That'll be a good game for sure.
If they win, will you be going to the little party they'll probably have? The little. I would hope they do something.
I don't know. They do they do things locally?
I don't know, a bar gate. I don't know what they'll do. I don't know. I don't live there. You do.
I mean, I'm not tapped in with their fan base like that. I literally just got here, so I don't know. I had to ask around, but
get your ear to the ground.
If anything, DJ, on, Mr. James Carr should know.
We need some inside sources.
Let's ask Mr. James Carr. He might know.
He ain't gonna know. He our front office. What's he wearing? Maybe they'll do like a parade or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, so hoping for a great, UFL championship game. I'm interested to see what the halftime entertainment's actually going to be like.
Brahma Babe, ain't you in San Antonio? Someone hit me up.
Yeah.
The band that's doing the halftime show it's like an alternative rock band. I thought I heard of the name, but I hadn't really listened to them at all.
Why I get disrespected like that? I'm not going nowhere. I got my team.
They weren't terrible. I mean, I'll tell you that it's be a whole hell of a lot better than freaking Marquette King last season.
That's true. Here, let me take my gear off and sing real quick, and then come back and kick a horrible kick. I'm just saying. Anyway,
Brahma Babe, I am from DC, Brahma Babe. I know what I can probably show you more things than you can show me. Like, I'm from here. I was born in the middle of DC.
Just don't let her walk you up and down the streets of DC showing your neighborhood. You'll be sweating your butt off.
Francis Scott Keys Park.
I would not. I would not take her where I know things happen. I would not take her there. James Carr. The question was: is anything happening if DC wins the championship? Like, are they going to parade? Are they going to have like some type of party? I don't know. That's the question.
He responds back and he tells you some sassy answer. Like,
I'm sure
what?
they'll do something. It just won't be a super big deal.
Why would I know?
I know.
So
He's like, I'm not even from there.
I don't know. I just had to extend
Either
the
way,
question.
next weekend, I hope both teams have
Because
fun.
you know what, you're asking James Carr because he is the best in the league and he's got his ear to
Yeah,
all
renew
the
your
grounds.
season ticket.
That's why you're
Don't
asking
talk
him.
crap. Just renew your season tickets. You win
We
some,
not
you lose some.
we not wrapping it up. This is the end of the season. We
No,
can
next
still stay.
week
We can
is
stay
the
on.
end of the season.
We can
Next
still stay
week.
on. We done, so we ain't got nothing else to do. So oh, so I told my family, they was asking me, they was like, oh, so now that you're back in DC, you're gonna be a Defenders fan, right? No, absolutely not. I said I'll be at the games with my Brahma stuff on. I would gladly be at every DC game with my Brahmas jersey, shirt, whatever on.
No, I can't wait to see that. But yes, let's wrap this up. I gotta work tomorrow. Either way,
Yep.
renew your season tickets if you haven't. We got merch over there. Click that little thing, get yourself some merch. Thank you to AFN.
Did we ever like showcase the new line that you made?
Which new line?
The specialty for
No, not yet, because I'm going to wait till the end of the season is done. So next week it'll be featured.
I'm not going to no
It's not
daggone Cherry Blossom Festival. You know what's crazy? As long as I've been here, never went to no daggone Cherry Blossom thing. Nothing. I don't care about no daggone Cherry Blossom. That's for y'all tourist people.
much like the Riverwalk in San Antonio.
There you go. Every big city has something that's trademarked for the city, and people don't ever go to it.
Yep.
Thank you to AFN. Make sure you watch our brothers tomorrow. Texas Talking Football.
Hey, Chris, the monument has a basement, bro. You could go to.
Thank you to whoever scanned the code there. Also, I just hope both teams have fun next weekend. Best of luck to both of y'all.
Both teams had fun, my man. Both teams had fun.
All right.
Horns
Wrap it up.
forward.
We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Horns forward.
Louis.
Horns
Always
forward.
Always
Go Brahmas. Yeah.
Always.